diving. Hope comes and stops us in our tracks. Bravely we prove in our striving, trudging together each day. Where there's a will, there's a way.
9 more days and my restriction is over with. Oh, God. Oh. Oh, I'm not done. All right. Now I gotta share from there. What I need is like 4 minutes to, but you can't do it until you're actually live. You can't start putting this stuff out. Once I'm off restriction, I don't know that you're gonna want to be a part of this one. Give me a little bit. Oh, he left. Okay. Is he coming back? Okay. I'll go back to sharing. I heard the bloop, so whoops. That was that was Big Papa's. Okay. See, then you got to remember which ones you've shared, which groups you've already shared to. And I got to do take 12. Okay. One more group. Okay. So, yep. Happy birthday to me. I'm not doing nothing. Nobody's ever really celebrated my birthday since I was in 5th grade. So I might have some cake later. Right. But my wife already got me my gifts. So my wife already got. I was getting ready to add you, but I'm not sure you want to be a part of this one. I'm going to be talking about my past and stuff. Okay. I've been working on my impression, but it still isn't very good. I am your father, Luke. Oh, it's not working. Is it the other way? I am your father, Luke. Let them eat cake, motherfuckers. You're a rebel spy and a scum. All right. Thank you, Disneyland. All right. I'm wasting a little bit of time because there was a person that asked me to go live and they're not here yet. So I'm going to send another message. All right. Make her phone ding a few times there. Ding, ding, I'm here. I'm here. I get rid of some of these. I left a message on the complaint line for the Office of Behavioral Health. And I called them and said, hey, we've noticed that you do not have 12-step groups listed on the Office for Behavioral Health. And I reminded them that AA is the #1 way and why we do what we do and asked for a call back. But if we don't get any response with that, then I'll just put out the phone number. We can all call and complain. And eventually they will put AA back on the resource list, which it should be. Are they really using their resources? And yes, is kind of what this is about, but I'm not going to come on here to complain about other people. No. What I'm saying is because I have a bullshit fucking mind, because I have been through what I have been through, I know when you're full of shit. I know when it's wrong. Welcome to Daily Trudge. My name is Dion. My name is Dion. Dion's trying to figure out who he is. If you're here, please say hello, whether you're watching the live or the rewatch. Yeah, I was talking with there are things going on, and it's just kind of the same thing that I was talking about earlier in a sense, but sometimes it's hard for me because I need to put a name to it so I know where I need to be. So I came up with, I don't want to give myself a title, but recovery liaison is kind of what we came down to. She's really good with that stuff because, well, I've talked to Marcia a lot. I'm not going to call her my pastor because she's not really my pastor. I don't go to church. But what she is, a pastor who's a very good friend of mine. And on the board. She's on the board. Yay! I was going to send you another message. Because I know you get busy and distracted. So, yeah. So I was in a meeting, and we just got to show a little bit of respect in these meetings. I'm going to bring up this, and then I'm going to move on. But when you interrupt somebody, it can take up to 2 minutes for them to get back on track what they were talking about. And interrupting people is just fucking rude. Okay, and it's even worse in an AA meeting. And I was talking, and somebody unmuted, and they said, "Hey, no singing." And I said, "And no cross talking, motherfucker. Don't interrupt me." That's how I said it. All right? Show some respect. When you're speaking, you know what I do? I shut my fucking mouth and I listen. Now, you don't need to listen to me. It's not required. But shut your fucking mouth while other people are talking, please. And stop filling up the darn chat with your stupid crap. All right, anyway. That's all opinion. Except for the first one, that's crosstalk. And no. Okay? See, sometimes you give people power and they don't know what to do with it. Because lack of power, that is our dilemma. In fact, let's start there. I'm going to start with the fact that I wrote a book a while back. Yep. It's called Lore, Legends, and Magic. It's a playbook. It's called LARPing, live action role play. And I figured something out when I started running this because, see, I used to hold events for like 100 people, and I'd have to come up with a storyline for all these different people. And it's got to be kind of exciting. They got to get something out of it, gold, silver, gems, maybe a cool sword or whatever, right? And you had to pay for your food in game and everything like that. And we had a magic system. But I found something out while I was doing that people that have been picked on, people who've never been in a position of power or leadership that are thrown into that role will fuck it up. See, LARPing is full of a bunch of nerds, okay? Most of them smarter than me. They were smarter than me. I'm a geek. I'm not a nerd. I'm a geek. That means I love nerdy shit, but I'm not very smart. Okay? I'm a geek. All right? And I made it cool for you to be a geek, by the way. You're welcome. I used to get made fun of out in the parks, hitting each other with boffer swords, shit like that. Okay, but my point is when we put people in a position of power that don't understand what we're going to get is bullshit. It's just going to turn into, and I know because I've been in that position before where I was doing something and I had no idea what I was really doing. I didn't take other people into consideration. See, when you're a geek and things like that and you've been picked on all your life, then picking on other people is kind of the cue. Right? And these guys would do weird shit with their power. And it would get very emotional. Very emotional. It's a game. And I'd have to remind them it's a game. And quite often I would have to appease these things because they were paying customers. Okay. something in my life that I have learned. Now let's switch over to alcoholism. I have found that when it comes to being an alcoholic, if I am not accountable in what I am doing, I'm gonna fuck it up. Right? When I was 14 years old, my parents sat me down. They're like, Dion, what the fuck is going on with you? What is wrong? Okay. Because I was getting drunk almost every night. They were probably wondering where I was getting my alcohol from. Because my mom wasn't drinking anymore. Okay. And so I told him. I told him how I felt, which I thought was not a smart idea. And a week later, they put me in a psychiatric center. So what was my thought process? Well, my thought process was I was honest, and look what happened to me. Fuck you. They called me alcoholic, crazy, stupid, dumb. I was a bedwetter till I was 11. What'd you pee on, Dion? Master Bates. Bates was my last name. That was for my brothers. My brothers were my bullies. I remember, there was one summer or one year my dad's like, if you guys get good grades, you can go to Las Vegas and see your friends. Well, they were Scott's friends, my older brother friends, not mine. They weren't my friends, and I didn't want to go. They didn't even ask. They just said, you can. I'm like, oh, okay, great. Thanks for the offer. But in my mind, I'm like, why would I want to go there? Bilal and Scott are just going to do nothing but torture me all summer. Or I can do whatever the fuck I want to do, go ahead and get those bad grades, and then I have the summer free because my brother will not be there. And I had a great time. See, my parents would punish me and I'd still be happy, and it just pissed them off more. So putting me away was their answer. Right? So you have a drunk horse thief, you take away the alcohol, you have a better horse thief. And I say better horse thief because this person can now think. Fuck around and find out means time. It means I have time on my hands, which means that my brain is now going to go towards these things. At least with alcohol, it would make me pass out and I wouldn't leave the house. Okay. So they started teaching me skills that I would use in order to manipulate other people to get what I wanted. And it worked. By the time I was 16, I could talk around any fucking counselor. I'd talk around anybody. I was great at it. You want to know why? Because they taught me. They taught me, and I'm a great learner with this stuff. See, I didn't really have many friends, so I've been people watching. Y'all do the same thing every single fucking time. It's like watching a bunch of lemmings. I can meet somebody, and within 30 seconds, I know whether they're a leader, a follower, or just a person that's doing what they're doing. I'll probably know what kind of music you listen to. I'll probably know whether you finished high school or not. It's just this deep, deep empathy that I have. And honestly, there are times now when like right now, I don't think, a better attention to the details of horse rustling. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. I like to have fun. So I have this brain. It's very smart. I'm a smart guy. I don't know what my IQ is. I'm not a genius. No, there's a lot of people smarter than me. But I grew up in white suburbia until I was 13. And then I had to shift. I talked about this with Daryl a little bit yesterday when I was working at Abraham Lincoln High School. I've always been in danger. Since I was young, I was in very dangerous areas for a small white boy. Okay, listen, I'm just calling it what it is, man. I wasn't the right color. So I had to act a certain fucking way or I was going to get fucking. When you're in halfway houses, you got all time. What you have is 8 kids who can't control themselves. Okay. I got into a fight one day over Run DMC and Aerosmith, and he's like, Run DMC wrote that song, and I almost put that motherfucker through a window. Okay. It was so easy to get drugs. When I was in a Arapaho shelter, and it's funny because I ran into him when I was like almost 30 again. I'm like, I know you. I'm like, you're the dude that used to sell me drugs through the window. The houses were like this far apart. And I'd hand the money over and he'd hand me my weed. I got stoned all the time when I was in the Arapaho shelter. Didn't even have we didn't have an oven, so everything was microwaved. We also didn't have screens on the windows. I left all the time. I go on dates. I do all sorts of stuff. As long as you're back within 2 hours before the next checkup. Yep. A lot of sex. You get away with a lot of stuff there. They can only watch so much. So I got better and better and better. And then I ended up on Skid Row. That's fucking rough. Those people are rough. And they're also some of the nicest fucking people you'll meet. Okay. I also hung out with a lot of bikers. So gang members, bikers, very rough people. These are my people, man. Bikers are kind of my people. I'm not a biker because it's too fucking loud. That's the only reason why. It for some reason it just irritates me, and that's my own problem. Yeah. Little get smart there, missed it by that much. So, I mean, I had learned so much, but by the time I was 20, that Arapaho House asked me to come work for them. They asked me. Joe Wright. I remembered it, Daryl. I remembered it. That was the owner of Arapaho House, Joe Wright. And it's J-O, Wright. And it was a girl. It was she. Right? She's not married. I know things. She was my mother's sponsor, right? You know, I have been around the program for a very long time. I've learned a lot of things, but because of these, because of that, and because I'm also educated, DSM's easy reading for me. And right now it's just bullshit now. It's just a bunch of name calling. It's not really anything. Yeah, exactly. And it's the lifestyle. And I love bikers. I'm just, the lifestyle just, you know, but that's exactly it. Um, so I've also been on the other side where, when I was 19, that's what's weird. I'm going to tell you something that's weird. There's an event coming up, and it was the same event, and that's how I know. So this event was actually originally started. It's on the 21st. It's at the Civic Center, and it was stolen, and that's why. I used to speak for it, but a team that I was on called the Westside Drug Free Youth Team had won the Governor's Award for Best Prevention Team, and they asked somebody to speak. Well, I was 19 and still living on Skid Row. And I went up there and I stood next to Governor Roy Romer. I spoke right after him. My wife, who was my girlfriend at the time, Shannon, was there with me. And there were thousands and thousands of people in front of me. And I talked mostly about how alcohol and drugs doesn't understand gender, that it doesn't understand race, because there were a lot of black people there, a lot of black and Hispanic. There was a lot of diversity there. I'll put it that way. And the crowd just roared at everything I said. And I knew from that moment on, I wanted to help thousands of people. It was that moment in life, and I remember it specifically. I was sent something from God. I spoke for like 5 minutes. That's all I remember. I've got a lot of different experiences in the program. I've been around AA when it was huge. Now I'm around AA and it's small, and now I fight against this bullshit that's going on. And it's the same event, but it's been taken and it's been perversed. You know, I've seen all sorts of alcoholics. I mean, I spent my first year of recovery on Skid Row. That's where I lived. And we would pull drunks right off the street. You know, I'm opening this house and people are like, well, aren't there going to be requirements and things? And no, no. So recovery coaching and sober living are not regulated. They say that they are, but they are not. It is not a true accountability regulation. It is not. And I know because I used to be a part of it. I was there when we were doing it right and we were seventh in the country. And I was there when we were 48th. 48th. That's what fucks me up. Yeah. Yeah. That's what it's come down to. So, I mean, I know it's a tall order, but I'm kicking the government out of recovery. I won't do anything. I mean, at the very beginning here, I was talking about the Office of Behavioral Health and that they don't have 12-step meetings listed, and that's wrong, and we know it. So I called and made a complaint. I'm going to give them a chance to give me a call back to see if we can have a conversation. Maybe they have their reasons. They better be pretty fucking good ones. Now, if they don't call me back, I'm just going to let loose. I'll put the fucking number on Facebook and everybody can call and it'll get done. But it needs to be done. The fact that we are not a resource on there. Okay. But what's odd is all the resources are the same names of the people on the committee. Odd. And I'm calling it odd so that I don't go off. Okay. So I know these things. When I say that right now, most of them are looking for a fall guy for a patsy, it's exactly what they're doing. I know that. They're in very big trouble. Why? Because that's what I would do. And I even know who their patsies are. Okay. Because I know whether you're a leader or a follower. I know if you have a servant's heart. You might get over on me for a little bit. Okay. But at least once a month, somebody approaches me about money and applying money to what it is that I do. And I'm like, you don't understand what I do. Money does not motivate me. Money doesn't motivate me. Healing motivates me. Helping other people. Seeing other people put their lives back together because I put a little bit of effort in. That's what gets me. And you'd be amazed. You'd be amazed. I've talked to hundreds of people. They're like, and they don't call back because they're not going to follow the same rules. And that's okay. At first it hurt. At first I was like, what's wrong with me? And I found out there wasn't anything wrong with, well, aside from the usual craziness. But I started to figure things out. These people weren't in recovery. I'd be like, I'd bring up a tradition. I'm like, hey, do you want to come tell your story on our podcast? Well, I never really got into recovery, but you're a recovery coach and you support these multiple pathways, but you don't understand them. It's like having a life coach that just got a DUI. It's the traditions. It's the traditions. That's what I follow. As well as I can. As well as I can. See, I don't ask for money. If I ask for money, there's an expectation. And there's no expectation here. Our primary purpose is stay sober, help other alcoholics to achieve sobriety. I've been driving that into my head. Okay. And I would be lying if I didn't say I wasn't frustrated with the government making this big business. There's a part of me that feels guilty for going back out, because if I would have still been in AA, there's no fucking way I would have fucking tolerated that. There's times I go to meetings and I just want to be, why did you guys do that? Why did you let them take all these people? Oh, we didn't know. You didn't notice that people were not here anymore? What are we doing? What are we doing? Well, AA has no say on outside things. You're absolutely right. Meeting's over. I'm talking to you as a person in the public. I'm not talking to you as an AA member. I take the serenity prayer very seriously. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change. The courage. The more courage you have, the more things you can change. I'm changing things. The central office just told me, hey, Dion, when that detox is open, you let us know. We got you. We're sorry it didn't work out at Henderson. They're keeping track of me. They called me. Yeah. And I know the person that called me. I've known her for 30 years. Yeah. So when my gut tells me this is what's going on, so far I've been correct. And I'm not saying that to be egotistical and shit. No. I have a lot of people coming to me and saying, Dion, you were right. And I'm saying, thank you. I appreciate that. See, I believe something. People can change. Even these people that I want, whatever, that I want consequences for, they can change too. I wish they would, because some of those programs are fucking awesome. Some of the people involved are great. They're just being led by leaders that aren't leaders. They're business owners. Yeah. You know, and it's kind of tough because, I want to protect other people, and some people understand my intentions, but sometimes we'll post something and we didn't look into what it actually was. We just got excited and we put it up. And you don't realize that you're sending these people to body brokering, to bullshit. You're sending them to drinking because we want to be a part of. We don't do that. Attraction, not promotion. The most promoting I do is we're meeting at 6, and I'll flood you with it. The Daily Trudge, I don't put in my sponsor, Daryl, I don't put it in AA there because it doesn't always fit AA. And it doesn't quite now the podcast, yeah, that's all. That's perfect. But I get off a lot of different topics here. So is it the right arena? I could probably get away with putting it in there, maybe, but I got to follow the fucking rules like everybody else. If I don't follow the rules, you ain't going to listen to me no more. If I make money off of this, you're not going to listen to me anymore. You'll be like, oh, Dion's off with those people. Then I will get too big for my britches, and then suddenly I will think I know what needs to be done. That's playing God. And I'm not God. I don't want to be. That job sucked. It sucked. That was the worst job ever, besides being a recovery coach. Right? People are whiny. They don't listen. The pay sucks. No insurance. No days off. You don't get a day off. This song, oh Lord, it's hard to be humble. You want to know the number one song on the podcast? The number one song brought up, Looking for Love in All the Wrong Places. It's the number one song that comes up in the podcast, believe it or not. Yeah. I know that to be true because I was there. You know, there's a lot of people in this area with a lot of great experience, and they're not being heard. They're being shut down. People like me, we're being shut down. Oh, they don't, no, don't let them. They're crazy. They're crazy. Well, yeah, I'm an alcoholic. You're crazy too. Ooh, oh, snakes? You want to talk about snakes? Hey, you got snakes? I got snakes. You want to talk about snakes? So they won't have a hard conversation with you. There won't be a solution. It's like the Colorado Coalition for the homeless. They don't want a solution. If they actually did the solution, there'd be 750 people without a job. Homelessness is big business. And every time mental health becomes big business, everyone loses. It's been proven time and time again, but we got a bunch of people that they're like, screw the people that came before us, and we're not going to listen to them. We're going to cancel culture them. You're fucked. You're fucked. Your life's going to suck. Everything that I know, I learned from someone else. Yes. And then I went out and tried it. I put action to it. Right? See, the main reason I have been going live every day, here's the main reason. So I have traction. So I have something to stand on. I'm known for a few things. I'm the snitch. I don't mind you can call me a fucking snitch. I don't care. Okay? God already knows. But I got to do it the right way. I know how to report. And if you need to learn how to report, let me know. It's actually pretty straightforward. Okay? You might not get a response or whatever, but you did your due diligence. Now, why do I report? Number one, because I signed a piece of paper that said I had to. Or I would lose my license. Okay? I don't have a license right now. I don't have a CAC at the moment. I don't want it. I want money. I want any letters behind my. See, these are things that just bolster the ego. I'm talking about me, so remember that. Okay, so it's these culminations of all these things that I've seen in the experiences, and the fact that the 12 by 12 tells me a bunch of stuff on what not to do. Right, so I spent the last 6 years doing this, and certain things about me. I'll be here. I'm going to be here. I think I've missed a total of a week from being sick, but even when I'm sick, I'm here. Why? Because you need to know that no matter what happens, I'm here for you, that I'll love you. I don't know what it is, but I can just see some things. Here's the thing is if you're in the middle of it, you ain't going to be able to see it. That includes me too. If you're in the middle of it, you can't see it. I love talking to my pastor because she's like, Dion, you've given me so much information. It makes me feel good. Because instead of going this route, she went this route. And it's going to help the person a little bit more. But you know what she had to do? She had to sacrifice. Yes, sacrifice with a person who's sending her shit emails. That's dumping on her. So what do? Patience, tolerance, kindliness, and love, man. And if I'm not reminded, then I will do what I think I need to do. And so somebody needs to stop me and say, no, Dion, this person's sick. They're spiritually sick. And that I can get on board with because so am I. Oh, well, if this person is spiritually sick, what can I do to make it better then? Because if I make their life better, I'll probably get what I want. I get what I want quite often, but I don't want much. You know, people, Marcia asked me, "What are you doing for your birthday?" I'm like, nothing. To me, it's another day, and it doesn't have anything to do with alcoholism. Mm-mm. It doesn't. It's just another day for me. I may do something a little different. I'll probably end a little bit earlier, spend a little bit more time for myself, but I'm not going to do anything different. I might have cake later. I don't know. You know, I can tell you that my wife already got me gifts, but I know she can give me another one. It's just the way she is. You know, I've got a lot of happy birthdays today. My favorite auntie. I got another auntie who's on my dad's side. She said something real nice. Listen to this. This is the kind of stuff that I get now, and wow, I just love it. I love it, man. Um, she said, I've been following all your work and efforts. Congratulations on all of it. I'm sorry you haven't been feeling well, and I pray that will change. Happy birthday. All right. So now she is my biological father's sister, and she knows more about my dad and my family than anyone. She actually has a very, very funny story about how Washington was crossing the river. Okay. Now, keep in mind, I'm British. Okay. So it's a British story. Um, my last name is actually Barlow. I actually come from the Barlow line. Um, and we were knights. We were knights. I'm directly related to John Taylor, the person that started Mormonism. There's a lot of stuff in my family. I actually come from a line of knights and stuff. So it's not surprising that I have this mindset. But at the same time, I didn't grow up with any of them. I never even saw my father. We talked on the phone a few times. That was it. That was it. He was passing. And quite honestly, I don't think he really wanted much to do with me, but he did what he could at the end. I'm going to give him that. But that's not the point. That's not the point, you know. So I'm also going through, you know, Marcia brought this up. She said, Dion, you're changing. So you're kind of going through a time of change. Thank you, Amber. Thank you, Amber. I like that you put birthday. My daughter and I have been talking a lot about now I totally forgot. But when I've been letting her talk about how, oh, that's what it was. That because I wasn't around, so she didn't have a father, and she had to be more responsible. Well, and right now she's like, I want to play around. She being more of a kid. I'm like, it's not surprising. Hi, Angel. Good to see you. Good to see you. Um, so I'm going to kind of reiterate since Angel joined us at like the 40-minute mark. I forget how long I've been talking sometimes. So, um, I've been trying to. There's a few things that I have going on, and I don't talk about everything that I do. You don't want to know all that I do. It might get boring. Not at all, Angel. Not at all. You know, the Daily Trudge is really a God-driven thing. You either make it. There's sometimes I do 2 or 3 of them in a row. Nobody's here, but then I get messages like I did yesterday, so I know someone's listening. So no worries at all. You never ever have to apologize to me for missing a meeting, for missing anything that I do, because I do a lot of stuff, and I don't expect anyone to do everything I do. That's silly. I've got time. I'm in a position to do that. right? So you got to take care of yourself and your family first before you start listening to Dion run his fucking mouth, right? Because that's what I'm doing, right? So I never feel not supported by all of you, if that makes sense. So I'm gonna kind of recap this. I grew up without many friends. Well, I didn't have any friends. Right? Till I started drinking, 14, 15. And then even then they weren't really friends. They were just like, wow, Dion does funnish, foolish stuff. All right. And I helped I had to raise kids and things. So I had to grow up pretty quick, but I've always been pretty astute when it comes to feelings and seeing what other people are doing and stuff. And I've always had this deep empathy. I remember one time in sixth grade, there was this fifth grade, no, sixth grade. This kid was messing with this little girl, much younger than him. And I went over there and I'm like, leave her the fuck alone. Leave her alone. And I knew he was going to get physical with me. And he pushed me. But he left her alone. I was being chivalrous. And I've always kind of been that way. I've always spoken the truth, and some people will be like, well, you're brutally honest. And then I had to work on that too. I'm like, fuck you, I am. It's true. So I grew up in white suburbia at 14. That all changed, and I'd start hanging around with Crips and Bloods and got a little bit more diversity in my life. By the time I was 17, I was living on Skid Row. Remember, I'm in therapy this whole time, every week. That's right. Well, I've had a lot of therapists. They were there just to manipulate. I don't really do much. So what did I learn? Well, I learned how to become a better horse thief. But did I? I mean, I ended up at Skid Row at 17. I know, you're like, 17, where are your parents? Well, I was, my parents gave up the rights to me when I was like 15, 16 years old. I was a ward of the state, motherfuckers. And then I got emancipated. And I didn't emancipate, my parents. I emancipated the state of Colorado. Yeah. So, I've drank with I've done shots with the Allman Brothers too. I yelled at Simon Cowell one day. Yeah. I have a shit ton of experience. I was a drug and alcohol counselor before I was even legal age to drink. Working in the roughest school in the state. I made a big difference. You're all making a difference. You may not see it. You may not know it. But the more people that get added to this list, look at this list. And 90% have joined. Okay? That's what the marks are for. It means I sent. It means you said yes. It means I sent you the link and you joined. I need those little indicators. Okay? And all of these people are people that I've known throughout the years that I know that if I get all these fucking people, I know this. If all these people come together, you know what will happen? The whole fucking community will change. Yes, that's what will happen. And I know that. And I'm not going to stop trying for it either. I want recovery equity. I want the fucking government out of my stuff, period. I don't like it in my taxes. I have a car that you cannot turn off. My Nest is not connected to anything. In fact, I'm going to take it out and put in a normal one because I don't want it connected to anything. No, just put it at 78 and fucking leave it alone. Okay? The more convenience I found in my life, the less freedom I have. Okay? I'm just going to say it. People in AA got fucking lazy. And I know. Because would anybody here be willing to be a sponsor? Sometimes I feel bad that I went back out. I said that earlier. So how do I know what these bullies and fake recovery people are doing? How do I know? Because it's me. So easy to figure out. I mean, hell, I did bank fraud for years. I was good at it too. The Here was the rule: if the phone's ringing, they're full of shit. I told one new employee that. She's like, "Oh, that's not how it works." And then she came to me. She's like, "Okay, I have this lady, and she's shutting down. We need to give her $600 back." I'm like, "Okay, let's go look at this." And we're a check conversion company. And I go and look at it, and I say, "Oh, it bounced. She NSF'd. We never got any money." Fucking lawyer. And then from there on, I'm like, see, you got fooled. Everyone's got a story, and you got to listen to the actual story and pick it apart. Question everything. Ask questions. And if people aren't willing to ask questions, turn the fuck around and walk away. Why? Because you already got a ton of friends. You don't need people. You don't need these other people. Don't need them. All right. Well, I think 47 minutes probably covers it. And I think I'm going to go wind down my day. It's my birthday, so I think I'm going to relax the rest of the day. Right. I'll do something. All right. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. I love you. Peace out. And